What if I told you, Marvel once had a hero who was a villain, a movie star and a literal being made of energy, a man who died saving the Avengers and came back glowing with power that could rival Thor. Meet Simon Williams, the forgotten legend of Marvel, better known as Wonderman. And here's the craziest part. James Gunn has already introduced him in the MCU, but almost nobody noticed. So hit that like button if you love discovering hidden Marvel history. And today, we're diving deep into the incredible story of Simon Williams, the Wonder Man. 1. The rise and the fall. Simon Williams wasn't born a hero. He was born into money. His father, Sanford Williams, ran Williams Innovations, a weapons manufacturing giant competing directly with Stark Industries. But behind the wealth, the Williams family was falling apart. His brother, Eric Williams, was rebellious, violent, drawn to crime. Simon, on the other hand, was the quiet one, sensitive, ambitious, trying to do the right thing. When his father died, 22-year-old Simon inherited the entire company and the impossible task of competing with Tony Stark. He tried to keep up, but as Stark's empire grew, Williams Innovations started to crumble, investors pulled out, debt mounted, and that's when Eric whispered the words that would ruin everything. If you want to survive, stop playing fair. Simon gave in. He funneled company funds into black market deals, thinking it was temporary, but the truth always comes out. Headlines screamed, Simon Williams charged with corporate fraud, his empire fell, his life shattered, and in his heart, he blamed Tony Stark. That hatred would soon give birth to something far greater and far more dangerous. 2. The descent into crime. While rotting in prison, Simon was approached by a mysterious woman, the Enchantress. She promised him revenge, and introduced him to the man who could make it happen, Baron Zemo. Zemo offered Simon a deal. Let me experiment on you, and I'll make you powerful enough to destroy the Avengers and Tony Stark. Desperate, Simon agreed. Zemo bombarded his body with ionic radiation, transforming his flesh into living energy. When he walked out of that lab, he wasn't human anymore. He had super strength, near immortality, and power pulsing through every atom of his being. He was reborn as Wonderman. But there was a catch. Zemo injected him with a control mechanism, an ionic toxin that would kill him without a weekly antidote. Simon was trapped, a prisoner in his own power, and his mission, infiltrate the Avengers and destroy them from the inside. 3. From enemy to hero. Simon joined the Avengers under false pretenses, pretending to be one of them. But the more time he spent with them, the more his heart began to change. He saw their courage, their compassion, their unity, and something inside him snapped. This was what real heroism looked like. When Baron Zemo launched his final attack, Simon betrayed him. He stood with the Avengers, fully aware that without Zemo's antidote, he was going to die. And in one of Marvel's most tragic moments, Wonderman sacrificed himself to save the very heroes he was sent to kill. His body collapsed, glowing faintly with energy, and for years everyone believed he was gone. But Wonderman wasn't dead. He was in stasis, his body preserved by ionic power, waiting for the world to remember him. 4. The return of Wonderman. Here's a wild fact. Marvel actually killed off Wonderman because DC threatened to sue. They claimed the name was too close to Wonder Woman. Once the legal dust settled, Marvel brought him back, and this time, his resurrection was even stranger. His brother Eric, now calling himself the Grim Reaper, tried to revive Simon with dark magic, but the spell went wrong. Simon came back as a mindless zombie, his body radiating purple ionic light. The Avengers fought to restore him, and through another experiment, they brought his mind back. This time, Simon Williams wasn't flesh and blood anymore. He was pure energy, immortal, invulnerable, and unshakable. But inside, he was still haunted, a man torn between life and death. He questioned his identity, his purpose, and whether he was even human anymore. Yet, despite it all, he chose to keep fighting. 5. Hollywood chapter. After years of heroics, Simon made a shocking decision. He left the battlefield for Hollywood. He became a stuntman, then an actor, and eventually, a full-blown movie star, a superhero, playing superheroes. He even joked, being a hero is just another kind of acting. Simon confessed his past crimes publicly, and instead of rejecting him, fans embraced him. He wasn't perfect. He was human, or at least he used to be. And that's what made him one of Marvel's most relatable heroes. 6. The power of Wonderman. Wonderman isn't just powerful, he's practically indestructible. His strength rivals Thor. He's fought and defeated Red Hulk and Abomination. Bullets, explosions, even nukes, they can't scratch him. In one comic, he swallowed a live bomb, and when it detonated inside him, he absorbed all the energy like it was nothing. He can fly at nearly 700 miles per hour, survive in space and regenerate from total destruction. He doesn't need air, food, or sleep. But the best part? He's not just muscle, he's heart. In Civil War, he sided with the government to prevent chaos. Later, he created his own team, the Avengers, to hold heroes accountable for their mistakes. Simon Williams isn't a follower, he's a thinker, someone who questions authority, even when it costs him everything. That's what makes him a legend. 7. The MCU connection. Here's the secret that almost no one knows. Wonderman technically already exists in the MCU. In a deleted scene from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Actor Nathan Fillion appeared as Simon Williams starring in fake movie posters like Tony Stark the Movie, where he literally played Tony Stark on screen. That Easter egg never made it to theaters, but it confirmed that somewhere in the MCU, Wonderman was already a celebrity. Now, Marvel is finally bringing him front and center in his own Disney Plus series. It's said to be a Hollywood satire, blending heroism, fame and identity. Think The Boys meets Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And with James Gunn already teasing Wonderman's significance, this forgotten Avenger might finally step into the spotlight he deserves. 8. The Legacy of Wonderman. Simon Williams' story is a roller coaster, from corporate failure, to villain, to immortal hero, to actor. He's lived multiple lives, and each one proves that redemption isn't about erasing your past, it's about owning it. He's not just another superhuman, he's a man who fell, rose, and kept walking toward the light, literally. Wonderman represents the human side of immortality, the heart of someone who refuses to quit, no matter how many times he's rewritten. So that was the complete story of Simon Williams the Wonderman, a man born from guilt, rebuilt from energy, and reborn through purpose, a hero who proves that sometimes, the biggest comebacks start in tragedy. Which part of Wonderman's story surprised you the most, his connection to the Avengers, or the fact that he was a literal movie star in the MCU? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more hidden Marvel origins, power breakdowns, and upcoming MCU connections.